Hello everyone. It's come to my attention in the last few practices that our ability to read the clock during practice, especially during our harder practices, our ability to make those calculations during practice have definitely swindled when we're under that pressure. So today's objectives are we're going to recognize interval patterns and we're going to hopefully improve our ability to make these calculations while being under pressure. So now while we go through our exercises today, there's something I want you to keep in mind. And what I want you to keep in mind is that on a digital clock, the seconds always go from 0 to 60 and they always restart from 0 to 60. Every time that 0 goes to 60, it goes back to 0. So I want you to keep that in mind when we're doing our calculations. We're just going to work from that 0 to 60 second time frame. So what we're going to do now is we're going to run through 3 examples together, or I'm basically going to explain you the first 3 examples. These are going to be 4 different sets, lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, and you'll have a chance to practice the calculation for lane 4 on your own at the end after we've gone through 1, 2, and 3. And hopefully by the time we get to number 4, you'll have a much better grasp on being able to create these calculations in your head and just do it in your sleep. So example number 1. So just for reference for all 4 examples, we're always going to start on the 60. That's always going to be the first send off for every first repetition. It's always going to be on the 60. Okay, so something to keep in mind. If the interval, the seconds on the interval, if they're lower than 30, okay, lower than 30, it's always going to be an addition equation. And if the interval is higher than 30, it's a subtraction equation. It is a subtraction equation. Now, if it's a 30, say the interval is a minute and 30 or 30, you can either add or subtract, but it's always going to be a 30 or a 0. So let's divulge into the first set. So obviously we have the first repetition. That's going to be on the 60. And so let's take a look at the second pattern here. So we have 45 seconds here, and that's above 30. That's higher than 30, so this is going to be a subtraction equation. So the way that works is you're going to take the difference from 45 and 60, gives you 15. Okay, so taking that number 15 is going to allow you to make just a very simple subtraction equation to find out the repetition for every single rep during this set. So number 2. What is 60 minus 15? 45. Number 3, 45 minus 15, 30, etc. We'll bring this all the way down to 5, which brings us back to the 60. Okay? And so let's go into example number 2. Just like the first example, we start on the 60. And then number 2, see how our number is lower than 15, our number is lower than 30. We're going to take the difference between 15 and 0, which again is going to give us 15, but instead of subtracting, this time we're going to add. So number 2, our repetition, we're going to leave on the 15. Number 3, the 30. Number 4, 45, etc. This one's a little bit harder. So this one you're going to, so this time you're going to take 25 and then you're going to subtract that from 0. So that's obviously going to be 25. See how simple it really is? Doesn't seem that simple sometimes when you're out in the water, but it really is quite simple. So number 2, since it's lower than 30, this is going to be a subtraction equation, addition equation. So our second repetition is going to be on the 25. And this one you're just going to have to just simply add to 50. And this is where it gets a little tricky. This is where the pattern starts to get a little more confusing. So the next interval, you're going to account for 10 up to 60, and the remaining 15 will restart from 0. So the next repetition goes on the 15. The following will be going on the 40, etc. So go ahead and take a moment to go ahead and do the last equation on your own. And then we'll go over the results together and we'll assess how you did.